Well, let me say this. I heard you say you were unessential. According to Sanders, you are essential. We're all essential. So we may not be classified as essential in healthcare, but don't get it twisted, baby. You are essential. We all are.
Thank you. Thank you. Unemployment say I'm essential a little bit. So
Okay.
it took me a long time to get it, but whatever.
Hey, be grateful, honey.
Sure, we're ready.
My head hurt.
I'm feeling a little nauseous, but I'm ready. You ain't even doing that, so that ain't where your energy come from. So
Get out my
if the quarantine is teaching you anything, that's just practice on that. We ready. She ready.
You wish you was in my bedroom, bitch.
Start from the balls, underneath the balls.
Yeah.
I'm so glad this not live. We're recording this, but it's not live.
This TALKinPInk. Is we ready?
We're ready. So how are we gonna?
Hi, piggies.
Hey guys.
Keita. Again.
Rachel.
Why I say that? It's Keita. You know how people change their voice. It's Keita. I get deep.
It concerns me when adults can change their voices like that. I need to see somebody.
My sister talking like this.
In real life?
In real life. When she get excited, when she happy, when she mad, that's how she sounds.
I would hate to have a fight with her because if that's the voice you're going to have, I know I'm going to lose. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of TALKinPInk. Y'all can't see what I'm doing right now, but I'm moving my ass up and down as I said TALKinPInk.
You twerking?
I'm so glad that we have this video, this setup, because sometimes you really don't know what to wear or want to get dressed. And if you are non-essential, you pretty much stay in if you're smart.
So you wear a lot of nothing.
So I'm kind of like, I took a shower, so I'm like gowning it right now. So I really don't have on much. And, it would have been stressful to try to find something to wear if I had to meet you guys. And I would have been like, oh my God, I have to have a t-shirt made, or I have to what am I going to wear?
So you just low key telling everybody you naked right now.
Pretty much.
What's going on?
Pretty much. I do have on a bra because my titties are real life. Yeah. So yeah, I can't just have them laying down while I'm on the job.
You feel better with one or without one?
I feel better with one. It depends on the comfort of the garment that I have on. Some garments, they snatch you in and they separate you. This one does not. This one is just like, you just slide me on and I'm there. So yeah, I feel comfortable having on a bra. Yeah.
I don't.
That's where I'm at.
I don't. Because the wire.
Really?
Yeah, because everything be pinching.
All bras don't have wires.
And then you itchy. And yeah,
Is that your body or is that the bra? I'm concerned. We need to go bra shopping. I don't know if they would have anything in your size where I go, but you could just see the idea of what real titties, how you get the measurements. Yeah, they're gonna be like, well, we have thongs and body sprays for you if you want to put something on.
I'm a C in these streets.
I can't remember when I was in one digit. I've been double, I've been triple. I don't remember
Triple,
being
double.
one anything. Maybe I was in, I don't know, high school. Maybe, I don't know. What has been going on? I feel like we haven't done this in a while.
I know you ain't got nothing going on.
That's why I'm asking you. You're the life. of the party right now. So
Um,
what has
I
been going
think
on?
I think people are they semi going crazy right now.
It's true.
Like, and I'm trying to figure out, is it worse than before COVID-19,
What do you
or
mean?
is it the pretty much the same?
What do you mean?
People just don't think anymore.
Oh no, that's gonna always be. That's not
They
COVID.
just,
That has
and
nothing to
then
do with COVID.
whatever thought comes to their mind, they jump right into it.
Yeah,
Whatever it is.
that has nothing at all to do
Dumb.
to COVID.
That's not.
That being
Don't
dumb,
blame it on
being dumb
COVID.
is a way of life. Being non-smart is a way of life. So that has nothing at all to do with COVID. COVID is an excuse that people probably use now, but it
Yeah.
has nothing at all to do with COVID.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
give us an example of what you mean.
Of what I
Yeah,
mean.
you said people are dumb. So what do you give us an example of, like, what do you mean?
um, when you formulate a plan
Mm-hmm.
and you got your A, B, and C. Sometimes you have a B and a C, not every time.
Okay.
And you go from step 1, step 2, step 3, and then you fucking go all the way left. That had
Okay.
nothing to do with 1, 2, or 3.
Or A, B, and C. Got it.
Or exactly, or A, B, and C.
Yeah, I know people like that. I do. It's real life.
Is there a diagnosis for that?
No, it's not.
So it's just
Because when
dumb.
that plan doesn't work out, they're gonna create something else. Something's gonna stick.
Like something else, like something better.
They're gonna
Something
do.
else.
They're gonna do something else. They're gonna do it until something sticks. So we don't know. We don't know.
Okay.
Weekly rundown.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Are you coming back to work?
So that's the question I have for my employers. That's a great question. Am I coming back to work? And what am I coming back to would be my question. I don't have a question of am I coming back to work? I feel like eventually at some point I will, but what I'm coming back to is what I'm most concerned about. My position was a lot of things put together. So in this climate of people being really fearful of positions, I think people are more so holding on to, what their title or description entails, opposed to, yeah, she can still do that, or she can still do this. So my concern at this point is what am I coming back to?
And nobody's called you.
No, I've called and checked in, because I mean obviously this is the first time I've gone through something. Anybody has gone through something like this. So I called and I asked questions about. I've called and asked questions about. Am I supposed to call in? Or am I supposed to follow up with you guys? Because I don't know. I was told check in 30 days. At the 30-day mark, I did do that. And then I received an email saying that the furlough was going to be extended. So at that point, I called in after, or getting closer to this extended mark. And I said, I don't know who I'm supposed to check in with. I don't know, what I'm supposed to be doing, and I was told, you don't have to do anything. When business picks up, we will contact you and we will let you know. So I was told that it's still pretty slow. I don't know how true that is, but I was told it is still pretty slow.
It is.
And they're basically, at that time when I called, they were saying we're working with a skeleton crew still. We don't have many employees here, so basically for me to be back at that point wouldn't make sense. And honestly, I don't want to go back until there's real work for me to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just go back to work just to say, hey, I'm back, I'm essential now, and I really gotta, I'm like stressed out all day because I don't have shit to do. So I don't want to just sit up there just to be like, I'm back at work. And I'm concerned about what it is that I'm actually going back to.
Yeah, because it was created for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was created for me.
But I think we're I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting there, I want to introduce our guests.
Hi.
We have a published author, Ms. Shavonne Jackson. Pinkies, welcome, Ms. Shavonne Jackson.
Hey everyone.
Hello. Welcome
How
to
are you?
TALKinPInk. So you introduced her as just that, but on her Instagram, oh my God, on her Instagram she has so many titles. So we're gonna let you introduce yourself and give us a rundown of all those titles. And let's just say if you were if you were on a daytime television show, how would you introduce yourself? Because I'm sure you wouldn't just stop at, I'm an author.
Well, let's see. Where do I begin? So, first of all, I want to say hey to you guys as well, and thank you for having me on the show. So, if I was on daytime TV, I would say I am the one and only yours truly, author Shavonne L Jackson. However, I'm also a poet, I'm a world traveler, I'm an innovator, as my profile states. Definitely an entrepreneur. I pretty much do it all. Basically, like Jay-Z, I'm a hustler, baby.
Hey,
Oh my God.
Hey.
Okay, so most of our guests don't know that saying his name could really start something. So we want you to have the space that you need to talk about you. You said Jay-Z. Kita believes that
so the first time I met Jay-Z.
Oh my God. So we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Okay,
so
I'm sorry.
let's start with being an author.
Yeah.
What is it about? How long had you known that you wanted to be an author or write a book, or what is it that you loved about writing that made yourself think, you know what, I could be an author. I could publish a book.
Gotcha. So I just had this discussion last night with some friends, actually. So I've always loved English, spelling, things like that, but that totally had nothing to do with me being an author or ever thinking about being an author. So I was adopted. So as a teen, of course, I went through a lot of adversity, just like the next one, but I didn't always have an outlet. And I used to, have to go to therapy, and I didn't share with them either. So what I learned over time was my pen and paper was my best friend.
Right.
I've always been an expressive person, but there's no one to express to. So I used to pen my thoughts, and it's just a gift. When I think back, it's like, it's just my God-given gift, because I could just write, but it just seemed to rhyme. So I started telling my stories and my experiences through poetry. And that was my thing. I just kept a little journal. So, sometimes when you sit back and you pull out one of the old school photo albums, you go through your albums. So, 5 years later, I had moved down to Atlanta, and I just pulled out my notebook one day, and I was just going through my poems, and it's just like I had this epiphany. It's like, wow, like, when I started writing as a teenager, I started writing about things that I was going through at the time, how I felt at the time, but also I wrote about how I wanted to feel and how I wish things would be, and I always wrote about one day, being free. And so when I looked, I was like, oh my gosh, it was like the very things that I was writing about, that was actually the life that I was living at that time. And I was like, wow. And then I just started remembering, like, things like in the Bible, like write down the vision and make it plain and things like that. And it just all made sense. And I said, you know what? I've got to write a book. This was in 1999. I said, I've got to write a book, because thinking about all the things that I went through, and I actually held on by the thin string, but I held on and I made it. And I made it to that peace and that freedom. So I said, if I could share my story, with the world, male, female, young, old, black and white, maybe I can stop somebody from taking that suicide attempt. Maybe I can encourage them to just hold on. If I've got to encourage them to write, whatever it is, if they just hold on, it gets greater later. So that's why I started writing, and that's when I knew I wanted to write a book.
That's awesome. How long did it take you to write this book?
So the unique thing is, I started writing probably around 1995. So, of course, I was a teenager at that time. So I had a
Me
collection
too.
up until that point. My first book, actually, At Night She Cried, it was actually a pen collection from 1997, I believe. No, actually 95 to like 2000. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, I wrote all the poems that I had in that 5-year period of time. That's what I published in my first book. And
Uh-huh.
then in my second book that's out as well, which is As the Sun Rose, I actually picked up and I covered from 2001 to 2011. So the first book is 5 years, the second book is 10 years, and then my volume 3 that's getting ready to be released, that's going to continue from 2012 up until present day. So
Yeah.
volume 1 is like my caterpillar. Volume 2 is that butterfly, and then
Yeah.
volume 3 it represents life today, and that's just that butterfly flying freely.
There we
That's awesome.
go. That is a beautiful story. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the way you tell it, and you tell it with such passion, and it's just, I can feel the energy even through all these pixels.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
And I know that you're a motivational speaker,
Yes.
and you've gone to schools in
Mhm.
your area. Have you traveled nationally to speak to groups?
Not yet, but that's all in the plans. Of course, everything is on temporary. I say delayed is not a denial. So
Right.
it's temporarily at a halt. But I do plan on doing that. So I've traveled all over, Metro Atlanta, out in the
Yeah.
suburbs, different counties. But as far as other cities and states, not yet. But it's definitely in the works.
Oh, awesome. Are you
Mhm.
from Atlanta? Were you born in
Yeah, I was
Atlanta?
about to ask that.
No, I was actually born and raised in Michigan, Saginaw,
Okay.
Michigan. It's about 30 minutes north of Flint.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been down in Atlanta since 1997. So I've spent most of my life, in Atlanta. So pretty
Yeah.
much I'm from the A.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I think so too. 15 years, I mean, you are where you
Exactly.
are.
Exactly. And I'm going on 24 years. So this is
Oh
home.
yeah. Straight from the
Yes.
A.
So how has COVID affected your movement?
You know what? I wouldn't look at it in that way. I think, looking at a positive side of COVID-19, that I personally have benefited greatly from having a break of the, everyday hustle and bustle of life. I've really appreciated. So it's actually put me in a state of gratitude, where I'm able to reflect on things that I've done and all these thoughts that go through my head every single day, and I never get to do it because I'm drained from work and things like that. So I've just been appreciating life, as I always do,
Yeah.
just expressing more gratitude and just getting mentally prepared to keep doing the things that I've already had in motion and to get it accomplished. So when this is over with, because I'm so busy multitasking every day,
Yeah.
I have to have several things completed. So when this is over, you know what? I can say I got this finished, I got this checked off. And so it's giving me time to just sit back and take a break.
And see,
That's
you're not,
awesome.
a lot of people are saying that.
Hmm.
This is giving them that stress relief time. Like,
Yes,
although there's, this illness that's going, or this virus that's
yes,
going around, but people
unfortunately.
having to be made to sit down,
Yes.
they are sitting down and they're actually doing great things. I was
Yes.
I
listening,
applaud you for still being so positive
yeah,
and still being able to get things done, because I find it has done. I do have the gratitude moments, but I do know a lot of people that are becoming more in solitude, and
Yeah.
it's easier now to stay away from the groups and the crowds because
Hmm.
hmm
you have to stay at home.
Hmm.
I applaud you for getting things done, because I look around my house and I'm like, I complained when I was working that I just don't have
Hmm.
time. I don't have
Right.
time to unpack and clean those boxes and put up bottles
Right.
of water. And then still sitting in this moment, it's like, okay, now what's the excuse
Right.
that you
I
have?
understand.
And I've gotten things done, but not to the, because I'm unessential at this point. So not to the
Right.
fact that, girl, you've been out of work since how long, and you
Right.
still look like you just moved in. So I
Right.
applaud you for that, because that's not an easy task.
Right. Well, let me say this. I heard you say you were unessential. According to Sanders, you are essential. We're all essential. So we may not be classified as essential in healthcare, but don't get it twisted, baby. You are essential. We all are.
Thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you. Unemployment say I'm essential a little bit. So, you know.
Okay.
It took me a long time to get it, but you know, whatever.
Hey, be grateful, honey.
How did you
Siobhan, I know
become?
you.
Go ahead. Go ahead, kiddo.
I know you said you got a third book coming out, and I
Yes.
just wanted to clarify. This is the one that when morning came, right? Is that the one? That's the
Yes.
title.
Yes, ma'am.
And I can see like the whole trilogy
Yes.
that you
Yes.
got. I can see the progression and just even in the titles. So I haven't read anything, but I'm so looking forward to it. I did see your stand up at the poetry readings.
Yes.
But I am so, because the story sounds so real.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good job in portraying that in words.
Thank you. And I wanted to add too, so there's, I know you guys haven't taken a look yet inside the books, but there's a scripture that I put in the beginning of my books. And
Mm,
so the one that I use for volume one is it's in Psalms chapter 30, verse 5, and it's one that most of us are familiar with. And it's weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. So, as you know, with my first book title, At Night She Cried.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, weeping may endure for a night. You may be crying at night. You cried at night, but, it doesn't stay night. Eventually the sun comes up. So, hence the second title, As the Sun Rose.
Mm-hmm.
That sun is rising before, it
Right.
becomes morning or day. And so my third title, When Morning Came, hey, she may have cried at night, but the sun was rising, and that
Right.
was morning, baby. Yes,
This is awesome. I knew there was a story behind
always a
So
story, always a method to my madness.
that.
are your books audible?
No, not yet. That's actually a project that I'm working on. I actually do have a spoken word CD.
Mm-hmm.
This one goes to
Okay.
the first one, and I She Cried, which is I just took some poems from the first book. We took it to the studio and got it
Yeah.
together. So it's actually awesome because I know we're in a digital age right now, but my first book was published in 2014. And I
Right.
found from hundreds and hundreds of readers that they prefer to actually have my book in hand, especially the ones that personally know me. I thought I
Right.
would sell more ebooks and things like that, but for me, it's the hard copy. They actually want my book, so
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
great thing. But I don't want you just to read me. I don't want you, just to feel me. I want you to hear me too. So like when I'm
Right.
Yeah.
expressing, I want you to know what I was feeling at that time, what I was going through, because a lot of people, well, I've been dubbed as an introspective style writer because people are so connected. It's like they tell me that they feel like I'm telling their exact story. And they're like, how did you know I felt just like that? This is for men and women. And it's
Right.
like it's like I'm seeing right through their eyes. So I guess my story is everybody's story. We're all connected in a way. So I do want to make it inaudible. That way people can really hear it. Like when you don't have time to read, you're busy, so you can hear me when you're on the road.
Exactly. So how easy is your book of a read? Like, do you know the age of your youngest reader? Because I know some young kids who could benefit from this because they experience similar things. And I know sometimes kids, I know when I was a kid, I didn't talk to a lot of people.
Right.
I dealt with the things that I had to deal with, and I kept it moving. But I've become a lot more expressive as an adult. So, but when I talk to kids, they're like, I'm dealing with something, and their outlet, I guess now, is social media. But social
Right.
media can be so hard
Yeah.
on people in general, not just young people. So how easy of a read is this book? And do you think that also young readers can benefit from it because you were young when you were going through these things?
Absolutely. And I do have the answer to that. My youngest reader to date was 6 years old. So when my first book came out, a friend of mine, she owned a boutique, and her daughter, I had no idea she was going to let her daughter read the book too, but she was like, girl, my daughter read your book and she loved it, because some of the elementaries actually, I guess in some of their classes, I don't have kids, but I guess they're doing like poetry, you know, they do different activities. And
Yeah.
so it inspired her to write poetry for her class, you know, and she was able to get up and do that. So she read my whole book, and it's easy read because, like I said, when I wrote it, I was a teenager, you know,
Right.
so it's not super deep, but it's still deep, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I've had a lot of teenager readers. My godson is 17 now, and you know, he read the book. A lot of young people have read the book. My niece in Michigan, she read it and was able to share and give a report about it in her class as well. So a lot of young people, teenagers, and then I've spoken at elementary, middle, and high school. And so the middle school, one of the middle schools that I spoke at, the staff actually bought and stocked some of my books in their library for their middle school
That's awesome.
students to read. So yeah, it's a very easy read, and they'll be able to, you know, connect and be motivated. And as you said too, that of course we live in a different time now, but the kids, they go through so much, and some of the parents will never even know the depth of what their child is going through, you know, because it's one thing on the outside, but internally, you know, it's doing something different that they may not have any idea. And so what inspired me too, when I was at an elementary, actually in Stone Mountain, Georgia, I was at an elementary, and so I actually taught a poetry workshop to the students there. I probably had about 100 kids in the gymnasium, and I had them to do a poetry exercise. And so when it was over, some of the kids came up to me, and I actually have a few pieces, and they wrote poems as I was doing the exercise, and they wanted to share with me. And I'm sitting here reading, I'm like, how did you know this? Like when I started writing, I was a teenager. These are little kids, and they wrote poems, you know, being inspired, and they were good. So they do connect and they do understand.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is a beautiful story. And I think that, you know, the age group that you're speaking to is very appropriate. Like you said, people and children are going through things. I mean, and I think everything is connected in our DNA, meaning that if my mom went through something and it was traumatic, that is going to inherently come to me because it is written in the DNA. DNA is like our scripture. So, I mean, when you can get them early to be to be positive about themselves and others, or just about life anyway, it's great because they're sponges, and it's, you know, that information can soak in and to carry them through their adult life. So yeah, that is the perfect group to be speaking to, especially in affirmations.
Yes, and it's funny you just said that word, affirmations, because I was thinking about it when you were speaking. It's funny you said that. Another elementary that I got to speak to, a class, I believe they were maybe 3rd or 4th grade, and I just got the message the night before that I wanted to share with them affirmations, because every time it's different, and sometimes if they don't have a topic, I don't know what I'm going to share, so I try to prepare ahead. And I actually taught the class. Actually, it was 5th graders, I remember, because it's on my YouTube channel. And I actually taught them affirmations. And, you know, I started off asking them how many have ever heard of affirmation. I had maybe 2 or 3 hands that went up, and they guessed, and they were all wrong. And so by the time I left, they all knew what an affirmation was, and we actually did an exercise, and I recorded it, and it's on my YouTube channel. So it's like, I think about it, if I had known affirmations when I was growing up that age, man, couldn't nobody tell me nothing, you know?
Right. It's interesting that you say that you were adopted. Did you find out early on that you were adopted, or did you find out later?
So I'm from a small city in Michigan, so pretty much everybody knows everybody. I was 6 years old when we were taken, so I already knew, you know, my biological family and everything.
Oh, okay.
So, and I would see them from time to time. We were just legally adopted, and, you know, couldn't, you know, associate. So I knew.
So when I was growing up, I used to, I guess, daydream or dream about not being from the actual family that I was from. Because
we all did that.
I had gone through stuff, but it's different when you're actually not from a family, to me, because it's like, oh, well, I get it, I understand. But I used to dream about not actually being from my family, and I used to feel like maybe I'm not from this person because I'm treated this way. It's hard for a child to learn affirmations when the generation has been so negative before you, and then before that, and then before that, and then before that. So how do you teach? Because it's easy to teach a child But then when they go home, who are they going to share that affirmation with?
Right.
Mommy is tired. Sometimes daddy may or may not be in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mommy's been working and she's stressed out. She's tired. She's frustrated.
Mommy needs some affirmation.
Right.
Okay.
So it's like, girl, yeah, I know. Just go sit down and be quiet. Like, I don't have time for that. It's like, how do you keep that positivity going for a young person? Because it's like, yeah, when I'm at school, it's great. And then when I'm over here, it's great. But then I go home and it's like,
Absolutely.
I just want to share my affirmation that I learned for today. Hopefully it'll help the entire family.
Right. So how I respond to that. So I started off with journaling because I had that issue at school. It's this and that. When I get home, it's a completely different story. So there's no one there. There's no outlet, pen and paper. That's why I encourage journaling. I encourage every youth group that I speak to get a small notebook and to journal their thoughts when there's nobody around. They have nobody to talk to, no matter how they're feeling. I encourage them to journal. That way they don't have to worry about if dad is there or not, if mom is busy or tired or not. And then also, as I've learned as an adult, there is nothing wrong with self-talk. You know, talking to yourself is actually a great thing. And as a child, like you said, we all make believe. I made believe that I had a twin sister. You know what I mean?
I used to do that.
Using the imagination, it'll take you far. And that's, you know, actually what I did when I'm writing about, you know, a future time when it won't be like that. That's me using my imagination, but it became real. You know, I affirmed it and realized it and actualized it, you know. And so I would encourage them to self-talk. If they have to get up and go into the bathroom, when they go brush their teeth, you sit and you tell yourself you're beautiful. You tell yourself you are somebody.
Right.
You tell somebody yourself that you are important. So I would encourage self-talk, and that way they don't have to worry about that when they go home.
Yeah, because the most powerful words are I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I am thinner.
There you go, girl.
I am 125 pounds.
There you go, girl. I am.
I will look sick if I am 125. I want to talk about social media.
Yes.
So how has social media positively and negatively, if so, affected where you're going and all of these different titles that you have? How has it affected your many different careers?
Well, as far as in a positive light, because I'm an extrovert, first of all, and I've always been like the social butterfly. I've been dubbed. And so I'm a multitasker, so I'm always doing tons of things. Like when my first book came out, people were like, how in the world did you have time to write a book? And you're always eating here, you're always there, you always travel. Like, when did you have time to do this? And so I get it done. There's, you know, like I said, a method to the madness. I get it done. And so I like being authentic. So what you see is what you get. Like, you know, I tend to find that a lot of people that I personally know as well, they're one way in person, but they're another on social media.
Absolutely.
And that's absolutely fine if that's what works for you. But as for me, like I said, what you see is what you get. So if anything, you see this on social media, I may be even more in real life. You know, this little bit.
Exactly.
So I love being authentic, and I find that people connect to me more, and they appreciate it. They're always telling me that they appreciate me being real, because I may look like this or I may sound like this, but when they're around me, it's like, you're just like you are on Instagram. You're just like you are on Facebook. Absolutely. Yeah. So I applaud my authenticity. And so because of what I do and my energy, like I remember when I used to do a lot of book signings all around town, sometimes I didn't have anyone to, you know, post during that time. And so I have all this energy. I've had this great experience for the past few hours, connected with so many people. And so when I would get home, I would go ahead and post some of the pictures. And even though it's hours late, and I would just share that, but that energy just, you know, protruded through. And then I would have people going to my site that same night, just buying my books and downloading my books just from me sharing. So with that, like I said, in a positive way, and I know that it's my I have a personal page, and that's my business page, Author Shavonne J. But guess what? My business is me. I am my business. So this is what I do, and I don't want people to think I'm just some author or I got a book, so I'm this and that. No, it's none of that. I'm a real person. I love to eat. I love to joke. I love to have fun. I love to dance, travel. So I want to show you all facets, and so you won't have to excuse, you know, you're a busy mom or you have this busy career. You can get it done, because I get it done, and you see all the things that I do. So I let it, I look at that as a positive thing that I get to share who I am for real.
So what about the
That's
negative side? Because there is a negative side to social media.
Well, for me, I would say
DM.
for the negative side, basically, because I do everything myself right now, like I've hired someone to do it, but until I can find that right fit that can do it like me and,
Right.
portray the same energy that I want on my page, then I'll
Yeah.
have to continue to do it. So with that, on the negative side, that I don't get to post as much as I would like to regarding my
Yeah.
book. So sometimes I try to keep that balance. It's more personal than it
Yeah.
is, professional. However, being an artist, whether you're a singer, an actor, musician, an artist, painter, we have a different type of energy.
Yep.
And so, you go in your spurts or whatever. So sometimes you may not do anything at all, but when that
Yeah.
creative energy flows, then you're going to flow. So,
What about crazy DMs? What about crazy DMs?
you know what? I don't get those. And I do get a lot of people
Yeah.
inquiring because I also have a publishing company as well, Innate Publishing. So I do get a lot of questions on book publishing and things like that. So, I give out information, but I do consultations and things like that. So, I'm as serious as you are about your project. If I can help you, but you got to help yourself. You know what I mean? You can't expect something from me that you're not willing to give yourself. I invested in myself. I'm not against GoFundMe or Kickstarter and any of
Right.
that,
Right.
but I finance my own passion,
You haven't
and
had,
so
I'm sorry to cut you off. You have not had any crazy, weird DMs?
no, I
I'm
guess I don't
finding
know.
that very hard to believe.
Really, no, I haven't
I
had
think
I
any.
can believe it.
I
I
can
guess
believe.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not mean or anything, but I am real. So I mean, if somebody comes
That's
in a
it,
certain
right?
way, I'm gonna let them know. So I keep it very professional. We can have fun, but don't go there.
Yeah, because you're speaking and you're showing that positive motivational speaker in you. So people shy away from that when they up to no good.
Hmm.
I
Right.
mean,
Now, if I'm
so
always
yeah.
showing this and showing that,
But
showing
that's
all
what
my
I'm
flesh,
okay. That's what I'm saying. You're traveling the world and you're not doing it like you only showing your eyes. You have a very nice body, okay?
oh, thank you.
Look into her
And
eyes when
you
you
go to
say
some
that.
you have a very nice. I can't see you, but you can see me. You can have a
Yes,
very nice body, okay?
thank you.
So I don't see anybody like not trying to like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I saw you in Puerto Rico and you look real nice and everything
Right.
on the beach and everything. I mean,
Nope.
that's good.
No, I
That's
don't
good.
get any of
That's
that.
good that you can have fun and you just like bloop, bloop, bloop.
Right. And then I only give them, if you notice too, I do mostly selfies. I do
Mhm.
mostly selfies if you look through. So they only get a body shot every now and then. And a lot of
Right.
times it's just up here. So I guess maybe when they get a little preview every now and then, they don't want to, do too much. Otherwise they won't get that. But no crazy DMs, especially on Instagram. On Facebook, some of my personal, I get a stray every now and then, but some personal people on my Facebook, every now and then, it's nothing crazy. They'll just, make reference to something, but they know that I'm outspoken. I've been that way since school. So if it's a classmate, they already know. I know this
Right.
is what it's long grew to be, but y'all know me. And so if you do too much, I'm going to let you know. And I have no problem with deleting anyone.
Mm.
So I want to ask about. Oh, go ahead, Keita.
Have you ever thought of putting your poetry to music, like rapping, hip hop?
So this actually does have music on it, so you have to check it. I have to send you guys a promo package for you guys so you can check it out. But it does have music on it, and I'm so happy because the guy, I do a lot of networking as well. So the guy that actually recorded my CD, he actually was Tony Braxton's keyboardist for like 7 years and toured with her.
Okay.
He's worked with lots of different groups from
Yeah.
TLC and Usher around Atlanta. And then he has a band and they play at different locations around the city. So, of course,
Yeah.
this is a big musician, has his own band. He doesn't do anything with poetry, but because I came through a personal friend of his,
Yeah.
and I told him about what I had, and, he saw my vision and he supported it. So he worked with me. So I actually have someone really good that did my music for me. But as far as like, back to your question about, I wish I could sing. A lot of people think that I can sing because of my voice kind of, a little raspy. I wish, but I can't. But I do want to collab with someone that either, plays a, guitar or something, or that can sing, so that we can do like a collaboration. Because like with Jill Scott, Lauryn Hill, I mean, that's basically what they're doing. It's all
poetry. Because that's how they got started. One sung and one did the poetry. So that would be so dope.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, are you in a relationship?
I'm not. I was actually engaged. Well, I was in a relationship about 2 years ago, and our engagement ended about a year ago. He and I are friends now, but yeah, that part is over. So I'm actually not in a relationship, and at this point, I'm just still working on myself, and, because there's certain things I don't want to give this list because it's unrealistic, because you can have this list, and then when something comes, and I'm more so on mental than I am on physical. So if something comes in a package outside of what you described, it is what it is,
Right.
It's going to transcend all of that. So until then, I'm just working on myself. But like, I know people, stuff I want to go hang out or this, that, and the other. I do have friends of the opposite sex that I hang out with, but nothing personal.
So why you drop my brother like that? Because I know you said, nah, it's not gonna work.
We're just gonna say your brother dropped himself like that. He's getting himself together. So
you know what? I'm gonna give you a sheet. You write down some affirmations, because this ain't it. Okay.
Right.
So do you think it had anything to do with your career? Because your career can be very, very intimidating to someone who probably doesn't see themselves going or growing or glowing as far as you have.
Yes.
So do you believe that it partially has to do with your career?
Partially, I would say yes. We won't go into his stuff.
That's fine.
That's a whole nother thing. I write about it. But I do personally believe that, because, again, I am an extrovert, but he already knew that. So before, most people, if I don't meet you randomly out, most people, they've been following me and they know who I am, so they know how to approach me, which is good. So that way they won't be like, oh, say, you know who I am, you know what I'm about, you see this, either you get with it or you don't. Of course, it's flexible, but, so he's actually an author as well. He has one book out, but I'm not going to compare the two. They're two different things. However, when I say I run circles around people, and not just on the book, but on so many different things. And so, he's not really an introvert, more so than I am, but when he gets around you, he is comfortable. But we have two totally different visions. He's not doing, the things that I've done, and I don't know what his vision is, but it is intimidating. I do feel that did have a part. He wanted to play it low, and it's like, dude, like, that's not who I am. That's not who I was called to be. You know what I mean? I didn't just make this up. It's like the gift chose me. And so I think that did have something to do with it. But the rest of it is just, him personally, like, and it can be intimidating. I've met guys even before the books, just for me doing all the things that I do besides the book, the traveling, the this, that, and the other.
Exactly.
I've had guys tell me that, I can't take you where you've been everywhere. No, I haven't been to Morocco yet. I haven't been to Monte Carlo yet.
Have you been to Dubai?
You know what I mean? Haven't been to where?
Man, it's
Dubai.
so easy.
Have you been to Dubai?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I'm on my second passport and I'm waiting. But, and things like that. And like, Atlanta has just like Houston, they have so many different restaurants, and I love fine dining. But don't get me wrong, I love a nice little hole in the wall too. I'm very versatile. But there's just so many things. And I've had guys that they shoot themselves out and they're like, well, you've done this, you've done that. And it's like, that has nothing to do with you. And it's, about the experience with that person. I could go to the same place, but I'm going to have a totally different experience. I do know that I intimidate a lot. So most guys I find with me, they play it safe from the sideline. They will compliment me to death. They will always like and support what I do. They buy my products, buy my books, but they just keep it safe. So
is that what you want in life? Somebody to keep it safe?
Actually, I don't. I want somebody that, I mean, they don't have to be just like me, but I
Yeah.
do. I mean, they definitely have to be supportive. They would definitely
Right.
know who I am. They would have to support and believe in my vision, which I do have friends that do that. But
Mhm.
it doesn't have to do, I mean, because I always need somebody to record me. You know what I'm saying? You can always take my picture. And a lot of guys actually like to play behind the scenes, but that would be
Yeah.
perfect. I need somebody to get my stuff together because in a minute I'm gonna be on. I need to, like, Lauryn Hill got a lot of
Right.
rappers, so get me set up. We can work
Right.
together and be a team. So you don't have to be that. But if you are on the front, hey, we can do this thing together. I know my place. I know I'm this, but I
Right.
know my place,
Right.
you know.
Right. So what
Well,
about children? Have you do you have any children or do
I
you
do.
want children?
So I do not have any children. I had a miscarriage about 10 years ago. Well, actually, a little bit more than 10 years ago. One of our poems on YouTube, you'll find a video about that as well. And it's also in my second book. So I love children. I've always loved children. Children love me. So at this point, it's like, I know I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but
Right.
I ain't that old. You know what I mean? So
if
Right.
it happens,
if
it happens. Huh?
Yes, yeah. So at this point, it's like I'm too old to be a baby's mama at this point. So
Yeah.
if I did have children, I would have to do it like in the next year or two. So because I would be married first. So it's like I'm too old now to wait this long. I'm not gonna have no baby daddy. Okay. So
Right. I should
if
have
that
thought about
doesn't
that.
happen, I also think about foster kids because I was a foster child at one point, or I adopted. Or if he had a child or two, I absolutely
Yeah.
have no problem with that. I love kids.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Well, Shavonne, it was a pleasure speaking to you. All the
Thank
Thank
energy
you
you.
that
so
you brought
much.
to the show, I mean, it was greatly appreciated.
Yes.
I'm definitely gonna get that book because I got 3 girls that need to hear
Yes.
and see and read and
Exactly.
understand life through word. And just let our pinkies know where they can find you.
Absolutely. So you can find me on Facebook, author, you have to spell out author Shavonne L Jackson on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter as author Shavonne J. Real simple. You can read testimonials about my book on Amazon, and then also on my Facebook page, author Shavonne L Jackson. You'll also be able to get reviews. I love for people to read other people so you won't get it from me, take it directly from them. So follow me, my YouTube channel, subscribe, support, and if you're thinking about writing a book as well, definitely check me out and let me help you as well.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much,
much.
Shavonne J.
Y'all know where y'all can find us: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and anywhere you get your podcast. So until next time, bye.
Bye,
Bye, guys. Thank
Pinky.
you so much. Have a great
Bye,
night.
You too.
Shavonne.
Stay safe.
Bye, girl.
Bye.